Hello and welcome back to the Inverted Castle, a Metroidvania enthusiast podcast. I'm Fly Agaric Fox, and joining me as always is my good friend and former shroom mate, Tom Anita Blight.
I don't...
Yeah, you're glad I came up with the puns first, right?
Yeah, I don't got something for that. No, fungus. You cannot kill me in any way that matters?
I guess. Listen, it's definitely on brand for me to be alone here, like a Lone Fungus, Melody of Spores, which is, of course, the game we're playing. Not sure how the melody factors into that, but to be fair, and the plot itself is pretty much just a MacGuffin. This is a game by Basti Games, released late in 2025, I think early November, and is more or less an orthodox Metroidvania where you play as a young mushroom guy with a whip and try to bring back magic to your fun kind, I guess.
Yeah, and my understanding, though I haven't played the first game, is that it's a prequel, which maybe we might get into it later. There are some things that I didn't make complete sense to me that might have been things that make sense if you played the first game.
Yeah, I touched it briefly. As far as I'm aware, there might be some oblique references in the lore, but as far as main plot, this one plays cleanly if you want to just jump right into it. But yeah, I don't know how you felt, but I was rather impressed.
I don't know. It's a perfectly functional game that I don't feel like it was doing anything. Like, it was not selling me on the story, I guess.
I can agree with the story aspect, although I will probably push back a little on the story, and whatever it's attempting to do with it is at the very least like scoped appropriately for the length of the game. I feel like some of these games, like I'm thinking in particular Gestalt, Steam and Cinder, has like ambitions beyond what can reasonably be put into the form factor of a Metroidvania. This one, you're either here for some silly mushroom shenanigans or you're not, but at the very least, it neither does too little or too much. But I think every other aspect of it, from the platforming to its approach to combat, is better than average. Especially, like, there was a point where I thought the game was over, and then it turns out there's this whole other subquest of even harder platforming challenges that I just missed that kind of brought it all together at the end. That I feel like it was like, I was eating a cupcake and missing the frosting.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, everything made sense at the end. I don't know.
I also missed those until near the end, but didn't actually go and clear them all because there's like 40. Is there like a payoff for that?
Like not story wise. It's really just if you do them all, then you get a bonus to all of your relevant stats, but that's it. So you're not missing out on an interesting combat vector. Like you're not missing out on like a new way to play or anything, but it is just generically good to have. But for me personally, this was an extension of those ladybug rooms where I felt like I wasn't quite pushed enough for the platforming for those optional challenges, and then seeing these at the very end of the game feel like, oh, well, I'm kind of overindulging. It added like an hour to my playtime, but this game has difficulty options, but they're more or less focused on the combat part of it. And so having astral gates is what they're called for the optional platforming. That's what added the extra friction for the platforming element of it.
Yeah. I don't know. That was kind of curious in that when I found the message about that, I thought I was making the game harder.
Yeah, it gives up a warning, right?
Yeah.
I think it's just trying to instill upon you that these are absolutely optional. You do not have to engage with it. But the way it's kind of phrased implies that there's no going back on this. Like you're committing to it, but you're really not. They're just peppered throughout the world and you'll see them. But
yeah,
absolutely can just ignore them.
Yeah. So I don't know. Kind of an odd decision to put those the way that they did. Maybe that should have just been there, and but maybe it's really hard to message that they're optional and you don't need to like super struggle your way through them if you're not having fun with them. I don't know.
Surfacing things and trying to like convey what they mean for the player, and it's that weird like how do you present it in a way that it'll be, received in the right way. The actual problem with it was that I didn't know that you had to hop on the cauldron to start it. Which I assume you also, like when you first go into that one merchant's hut, she's the witch, and she'll like talk about her nectar and being like, you'll be able to pierce the veil between realities or something, and it's very dangerous. And you're in green cap, your main character's like, okay, that's weird. But I interpreted that at first as like something she sells or like weird lore that'll come up, or just weird flavor maybe.
Yeah.
Did not see the connection between that and the cauldron. Turns out I'm not the only one, because as of late January, there's a patch that made it so that the quest starts from just talking to the witch merchant instead of having to actually intuit that you got to interact with the cauldron, which makes things easier. So you'll not miss what is, in my opinion, the most. I'm not going to say it's the best part of the game. It is definitely the most. For me, it was the crack of the game. Like, oh yeah, I'm just going to mainline 40 hard platforming challenges in a row right as I've already basically beat the game. Yeah. Excellent. But I think if it was paced better, like I think that would just add to the texture better, regardless.
Maybe also if I had a little more time, because I found it and was like, 40 more things. I think I'm just going to finish the game and move on.
Yeah, 40 more things. I've got a podcast to record in half an hour, so...
Not quite that bad, but I guess getting into the game and not this one optional thing.
Yeah.
I mean, its big thing is that it's whip-based with 8-way directional.
I'm not sure if that's the big thing, but that's the meat and potatoes of combat. Like, that's your main attack. You'll have your sub-weapons as well. A lot of Castlevania staples of the axe that travels in the arc that
yeah,
or the dagger that does a little bit of damage straight ahead.
Yeah. Like, if I wanted to call some things its big things, it's like, okay, the 8-way whip probably falls in there, and then the what was that dumb pun?
Fung Fu?
Yes.
Yeah. I really like Fung Fu.
Yeah, the Fung Fu kick.
It's just a dive kick, but it doesn't do a lot of damage, but it applies a defense down debuff on enemies that will stack, and you can have optional equipment that will let you stack it higher. And the thing about that is, upon hitting the creature or enemy or whatever with your whip, it only removes one stack instead of cashing it all in. So you could stack it up when you're doing other things. It did add quite a bit to the rhythm of combat for me.
I ignored it for a really long time, actually.
I did a little bit, but that was more or less because I wasn't being confronted with things that really required it. And also some bosses and enemies just are more suited to it than others. Some you just don't have the opportunity to do it, and others will be like, oh, you'll have some downtime and may as well while you're avoiding stuff. And since you have like a little bounce off them, it's, a thing to do. I think it's when you get the charged whip upgrade, that's when it really starts to sing.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I did things in a silly order. It was actually pretty late for me.
I think it was about mid-game for me, but I can't remember. I know most of my playtime felt like it was after that, but that might be just... I did a lot more cleanup by the end.
I think I got the charged whip and then immediately got the overcharged whip.
I did as well. See, the thing is, the overcharged whip, like basically the second level of charging, is only blocked by having the charged whip. So, if you just remember that one blocked off area and you go back to it, it's an easy upgrade.
But like, that was literally the last things I did before either not the last boss. It was before the second last boss.
I see. Yeah, no, you definitely did it later than me then.
But yeah, that might have just been me being silly.
Yeah, but no, like stacking up the debuff while you're charging is just an efficient use of time. And I think there's like an actual damage cap of like 400. Usually you're doing like 20 to 30 per whip. But if you stack up all them debuffs and hit them with the charge attack, especially if you're like overstacking the debuff with your current setup, oh, it feels good to 1 to 3 shot the last bosses.
Yeah, man. Maybe I should have been charging more. I actually stopped charging against the last boss because
Oh,
trying to manage charge and do things was proving too difficult, and instead I just went all in on the mana attacks.
interesting. Okay, see, this is a game where you can build differently. Personally, I think you did a mistake, but that's just because obviously I am correct.
Probably when it got to the smaller platforms, I should have switched back, actually.
Yeah. For me, it was like a simplification of combat was just, okay, I'm just always holding charge. And then if I see a spare shot, I'll release at the boss. But otherwise, I'm just dodging and bouncing over them when I can.
Fair.
And I really didn't engage much with the magic. Like, there are a lot of sub weapons you can equip that I just really didn't engage with.
There are a lot, and I feel like I didn't engage that much with them because,
You found one that worked?
yeah, the axe is just too good.
It has that arc that you know, and it's does enough damage to basically always be relevant.
Yeah.
Did you ever build around like making your whip not do damage, instead just build up magic again?
No, maybe I should have tried it because there is that one whip, right? But it was just like, no, I'll have damage on my whip, but I'll also have pretty strong specials. So like axe, anything that moves like a boomerang,
Yep, there are a few of them.
and then I basically ignored most other things.
But you beat the game and it was fine. As I alluded to earlier, there are a bunch of difficulty options. Like, there are presets, but you can like fine-tune things of how much health enemies have, how much damage they deal, but also what the cost of dying is. I'm not sure what you decided on.
I kept it at the normal preset, so there was no cost of dying other than going back to the checkpoint.
Yeah, I think they're called shrines, but they're the save points, right?
Yeah, which is like fine. I don't know. I probably could have done the hard mode currency loss or whatever it was.
Yeah, that's what I ended up doing. It didn't matter too much. I did like obviously lose a couple of times, but as long as like you're constantly fighting things, the economy works out that you can still just buy everything by the end, and it really just incentivizes you to just pick up stuff between like save points, just warp to whatever merchant you know still has things and invest.
Yeah.
Really, the thing was that preset also had lower magic health and your armor, I guess, which is just health plus until you're out of it, and then you start taking direct health damage. Armor's harder to get back, but it soaks up more damage.
Yeah.
But yeah, it took a while, and I ended up not really investing much in mana because I'm a sword and board type of guy, or I guess whip and kick. It carried me through the game.
Yeah, fair. I don't know. I feel like I'm usually a sword and board kind of guy, but
Yeah.
I don't know. The special weapons was working for me.
Yeah, and you can equip things that like will still generate mana back. Usually it's on kills and like whipping candles, like Castlevania, right? But you can have a bunch of different options for trying to regenerate that stuff.
Yeah. So silly thing that I did. There is a deal double damage, take double damage crown.
Sure is. I didn't end up going with it because I was already hitting the damage cap by the time it was relevant. But tell me about your exploits.
I got that, I think, before the first boss because I, for some reason, was allergic to the forward direction. This might be why I got some things like the charge attack very late.
Potentially, but I think to this game's credit, there is a sprawling map to explore that isn't the main path for large portions of this game. So if you want to just get lost, go with God.
Yeah. So until like the mid game where doubling damage started to just kill me very quickly.
Yes.
I was just rocking that and melting every enemy that I came across.
Nice. Yeah, I was finding that most normal enemies, if I wasn't on my game, would already be kind of chewing through me on the harder difficulty. And I got used to the thresholds of how many hits it takes to defeat the enemies already, so I usually just used the crown that deals a bit of damage on when they make contact with you, mostly because that ended up saving damage that I would have otherwise taken. That would be like the last little bit that kills them.
You don't need to take damage if you killed them in one hit. And that was my tactic.
Yeah, well, I can't kill them in one hit. They have 1.5 times HP.
Well, yeah, but you have a double damage crown.
Yeah, fair.
This is seriously basically how I ran through the entire beginning of the game, was just like, oh, hey, we've got a whip that only deals damage on its tip, but deals the most damage.
I used that. I used the cursed whip, and then finally settled into just one of the late game. This whip just does a lot of damage.
Yeah, and with the crown, that was putting out plenty to be one-hit kills on regular enemies, and frequently melted some early game bosses too.
All right. How did you find the bosses overall? Like, once you're past the, like, you can just ignore whatever gimmicks they have by one-shotting them or whatever you're doing early game.
I mean, I guess they made me engage with the systems, and I had not been. So, like, there was a point where I was just like, oh man, why has this suddenly got hard? And I was like, oh yeah, because I haven't been fung-fuing, right?
That's it.
I was like, oh yes, I do actually need to just bounce on this enemy because it's almost always safe to be bouncing on their head.
It's just value add.
So they were all right. I can't say I really have complaints.
No, I felt they were mostly appropriate difficulty. Like, I wasn't, by the mid to late game, I wasn't just rolling through and beating them on the first shot. And there tended to be a good mixture of, like, big, giant monsters and more mushroom-sized enemies. There's a good variety. One that gave me a lot of trouble was the big, I don't know, he's a giant guy that would just, like, jump up and press down, shoot, like, electricity at you. I think he was an optional guy, but...
Oh, the big screw?
The big screw, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the second big screw, because, yeah, that was an entirely optional area that I did very late.
I did it very early, and because he's so big, I found it hard to fung-fu him, or to get up on top for when I was fighting him. So that, like, it's one of those things where I'm like, okay, so checking my equipment, what would help in this situation, swapping a bunch of things out. Between that and another late game boss that was like, it had 3 distinct phases, all of which matched the areas. Like, there are 3 distinct areas you all have to go through before getting to them. And each phase matched that area's gimmick. Like, oh, this one's the windy section. This one has lasers. That one, I discovered that if you beat a phase, the phase is gone for good.
Yes.
Which is, you know...
generous.
It is generous. At the time, I was very appreciative. In retrospect, I wonder if I should have suffered more. But, you know, I'm not going to look too many gift horses in the mouth. Of course, if I want to go on the hardest difficulty with permadeath, obviously this would be a moot point.
Yeah.
Obviously, I did not go with permadeath on my first run. But no, I found that each boss encounter was a moment of excitement to see what's next here. It never felt free, and even though I was, by the end of the game, the final boss wasn't a complete pushover despite getting everything. Always good to see.
Yeah, I generally liked the smaller bosses better.
Yeah, in Dark Souls, do you like fighting against the similarly player-sized bosses or the monsters?
No, I guess the player-sized ones.
Honestly, it's mostly for me. It's Artorias, and the actual NPC encounters suck ass, but Artorias likes. Those are good. I would tend to agree that the smaller guys, because you get to use both Fung Fu and your whole complement of things, and they tend to be a bit more, I don't know. All of them tend to be like from the same Fung gang, and each one had their own personality and gimmick in the boss fight.
Yeah, I guess also maybe my strategy was particularly well suited to the big things, where it's just like, I'm going to throw an axe, it's going to hit you 2 to 3 times. Even more for the guy that was the big snake.
The big snake, yeah. Also a thing that was hard to Fung Fu.
Yeah, fair. I did not even try.
But that one also has a lot of downtime where I'm just charging up a whip regardless.
I did not have the charged attack.
Oh, yeah. Right. You got it late. Oh, sucks to suck.
But yeah.
You did not become a berserker that early enough then.
No. It was actually kind of dumb. I was like, where am I supposed to find these clothes that they're talking about? Turns out in a shop that I thought I had bought everything in ages ago, just had not bought the bandana.
Yeah. Because I was so incentivized to just go back to previous shops and clear them out just so I don't accidentally lose all my money for nothing. Yeah, I just had it when I discovered that village.
I mean, I was far past the point where I was struggling for money. I also religiously equip the thing that's going to attract items to you more, and anything that's going to increase drop rate. And it really mattered in this game. At least at the beginning, I felt like money was pretty hard to come by, and then once I got the lucky rabbit's foot, suddenly I had money for everything.
Yeah, the rabbit's foot also drops armor more as well, which was relevant to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's always weird seeing in these games that have you got to commit one of your optional slots to just not lose out on drops. Like the magnetism, because Silksong does this, a lot of games do this. This game also has if it drops into a spike pit, well, I guess you just lose it.
Yeah, I mean, that might just be us being, like, loss averse. Where it's like, no, I see my money and it's gone.
I absolutely greed out every opportunity. Oh, does this increase drop rate? Does this, like, have all my stats, but it gives me a plus 10% to, like, experience or money or whatever? Hell yeah, brother, I'll just be better.
Where, like, a different perspective on it would be the real drop rate is the things you can actually pick up. And then putting on a magnet increases the drop rate.
But this is about that whole, like, presentation thing, right?
Yeah.
Mathematically, it might work out that how it is naturally is, like, absolutely fine. The game totally functions as it is. But to my weird brain, I'm just like, well, no, this is just the tax for being me, I guess. I'll have the magnetism on forever and simply have fewer options and be better with my whip.
Yeah. I actually went through a number of bosses with that on, and was like, I guess I should have swapped it out at some point.
I am not crazy. I did swap it out every time a boss showed up because obviously it does nothing for the boss. You're not killing stuff. Actually, I don't think there are many, if any at all, that really have like the horde boss function where they just spawn a bunch of dudes at you.
Yeah, I guess not. I mean, the last boss does have some minions.
Yeah, but you don't have to engage with them as much as like a true horde or like leader type boss.
Nothing's gonna like disappear and then you have to kill all their minions before they'll come back.
Yeah, let me tell you, the last boss, you can just focus the last boss. It will die quite nicely. So, I don't know. Kudos to that. Like, that's one of my, like, I understand the design, but yeah, did not need to resort to that function to get a really good slew of unique bosses. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, like, I'm still pretty high on this game, even though it's been like a month since I last played it, but...
Which is funny, because I finished it literally yesterday, and I was like, I don't know.
That's how we get the two perspectives, Like, some of us are under a time crunch and may feel about it differently for who knows why. But I did find that this game, even though it's, like, kind of orthodox in its design, every element of it, I felt punched above its weight class a little bit. I felt like while I wasn't really engaged with the story and the lore, I think it passed muster. It didn't overstay its welcome, but still provided the good texture. We haven't even talked about what the story is, which is just mushrooms were magic, but they lost that after the Spirit Beast starting attacking anything with magic. There is a legend that a Lone Fungus will deliver them into a new era of magic after defeating the Spirit Beast. You, as Greencap, believe you are the chosen savior, and so you go about fulfilling your destiny. Is that more or less what you remember?
Yeah, I feel like there was something going on at the beginning where it's like, I don't know, maybe I missed something where it's like, I felt like they went from, we don't think you're the chosen one, to, yeah, you're probably the chosen one.
Yeah, it's weird. I think that it's more or less, you're the best option we have at the time, and things have gotten bad enough that we're going to put our chips on you. You're certainly better than this weird fung gang that has decided to go. I don't know what their motivation is other than they think it's cool to be the chosen heroes and stand in your way. They're the goldfish poop gang that
goldfish poop. Yeah, they're the quirky mini boss squad.
Yeah, exactly. And by the end of it, the melody of Spores is just the thing that summons the spirit portal in order for you to engage in mortal combat with the Spirit Beast. The Spirit Beast itself is giving you like unclear allusions to what the cost is to bring back magic, and alluding to that the civilization of old had some pretty dire consequences for its use of magic. Something like that. Like, obviously you're going through the ruins of a once great civilization of mushroom kind.
Yeah.
And upon defeating the Spirit Beast, you as Greencap I guess, become one with the spores. You as an individual are no more, and magic returns to your civilization. And I believe this is how it ties into the first game.
Yeah, because like 8 to 10 things go flying, and you're just like, huh? And I assume those are from the first game.
Yeah, again, I only touched it for like an hour or so, and just kind of got a sense of it. It's a differently paced game. I think I prefer this one, but we might cover it in the future.
Yeah, I don't know. My one complaint is like I felt like they were trying to build to a like you can't just fight your way through this, and then it's like, oh okay, we got the flute. Now you can fight your way through this.
And upon your first encounter with the spirit beast, you're supposed to lose it, but you can succeed. You only get the one shot, and there's obviously an achievement for it.
Yeah.
I think the end result is obviously just it flies away, you get the feather, same as always. But that's video games, man. They tell you can't just they tell you that the power of incredible violence is actually not the solution, but unfortunately your only verb is incredible violence.
Yeah, so like I was kind of expecting to get the bad end.
Yeah. And it does feel a bit like a bad end, right?
A little bit, in that the main character has sacrificed themselves for the good of the many.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if you did this, but after beating the Fung Gang for the last time, you can visit them in all their homes, and, you know, they're kind of chill. Like, you make plans for after this adventure is over. But no, there's no after the adventure for Green Cap.
Fair.
But yeah, there's only the one ending, and I guess it has to be a little bit bittersweet because it ties into whatever's going on in the first game. There's going to be another thing to solve. I don't know.
Yeah.
But for me, at that point, I was like, well, there's this achievement I haven't had. What the hell's an Astral Gate? Because I was playing it before the patch. I then looked that up and then had a wonderful time essentially licking the icing bowl of the cupcake that was the whole game.
See, I had found that, I guess probably prior to that patch, and then it gave me a very strong hint towards it when I talked to that merchant at one point. I was like, I assume that's after the patch.
I'm glad it's there now, because again, I think it really does add quite a bit for those seeking additional platforming. Because this game is a lot of platforming as well, and the things in the Astral Gates have their own unique mechanics that aren't seen anywhere else, and it'd be a real shame if someone missed that and if they're particularly disposed.
Yeah, it's a lot more Celeste-esque.
Celeste is the parallel, I'd say, both in terms of difficulty and the actual mechanics. Instead of dashing, which you do also have an air dash, obviously, but the whip-based crystals and a bit of Fung Fu. Gotta give it up for Fung Fu.
But yeah, I guess other than Fung Fu, we haven't talked much about the traversal abilities.
Sure.
There's, of course, a grapple that you unlock pretty early on.
The whip becomes a little, like, tether you swing on.
Yeah, there's moving some blocks with the whip. You already have a ground dodge, which sends you really far.
Yeah, I liked it. I was using it a lot. I think you can transfer momentum into jumping as well before you get the actual air dash.
Yeah, then you later unlock an air dash. There's a double jump, of course. Gotta have a double jump.
Gotta.
The charged attack does actually break some unique things. You unlock Super Mario World style climbing. And a completely optional ability to dodge while climbing.
Yes, I don't think it's ever necessary to traverse, but it is helpful for a few bosses where, yeah, the Super Mario World climbing is just in the background. There are some, like, grates, vines, whatever, that you can then climb up. A couple of boss fights that require you to do that, and being able to dodge is nice, but usually you can get around it.
Yeah, the one that is just, hey, these particular nodes you can hit and they'll turn into platforms. That one's not the most interesting in that it's very key-like.
Yeah. Also, you the air dash doesn't go through obstacles or enemy attacks or enemies until you get a different upgrade for it, which caught me by surprise.
Yeah.
And even then, it's a thing that charges up, so you can do it once and then wait.
Yeah, it's the Shade Cloak, although I don't think it ever came up that I didn't have the charge when I needed to use it.
Yeah, it's not a necessary upgrade. Things are designed around not having it, but it was a thing that I kind of just assumed I could do and then got hit the one time. And
yeah. But I mean, like, once you have the charge, I don't think I could dodge and land and dodge again fast enough.
I feel like you could, but you have to be like going back and forth pretty quickly. It tended to be just you dodge the attack and then you're fine.
Yeah, it's more of a like, it just was always up when I needed it.
Yeah, I think if you're trying to go through areas, like just normal areas and not a boss fight, it'll occasionally be relevant. But yeah, it's such a minor thing, but technically unique.
Oh, yeah, you know what's another thing that I did not find until the end of the game?
Sure.
The person who sells you maps that show you hidden places.
That is a secret area. I also missed it and actually had to look it up.
Yes, I had to look it up too, where it's just like, I'm at like 97% map coverage. Where the heck is the rest of this?
Because, yeah, it has the breakable walls, occasionally just like a wall that's not all the way filled in and is a secret passage to a bonus goodie. In like the first major dungeon, essentially, there's a secret shop where you can start investing in just, here's the stuff you missed. We'll mark it on your map. Can't believe we also missed this. The map marking system is very robust.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true. It's got a system very similar to Prince of Persia Lost Crown.
Yeah.
In that you can screenshot. This one is not limited. You can go nuts with it. I later realized that it also has a robust pins system. I basically never touched that.
Yeah, it's got pins. You can screenshot things. It'll also automatically put like a little question mark and just a brief description of, oh, it's a weird block or can't reach there yet, to kind of give you the hints of what you actually need there already for most major obstacles. So yeah, I actually found there was not a lot of need for me to screenshot things because it was already automatically saying like, oh yeah, you need to come back here, and enough of a hint on what it is for me to be like, okay, cool.
I guess so. I mean, I still liked screenshotting things. One of the things I would do is I would screenshot that things were a one-way door, just to be like, okay, instead of actually visiting that and being like, can I do this now? Because like the lack of that question mark didn't mean anything to me.
Yeah, I also did that for things that seemed significant but had no obvious use and turned out to be for a quest later, or just actually the random interaction with the Fung Gang. I found a house in the forest that had just nothing in it. Turns out after you beat all of the gang, one of them goes there and you can have a little chat with them.
Oh yeah, that house where someone was like, I'm watching this house for someone.
There's that house. There's another one outside of the village. So yeah, between that, like the markers, the screenshots, you're not going to get lost. And there is an in-game hint system for anything you might have missed, if you can find the in-game hit system. There is an indication for it. It is just kind of like a ladder that's kind of faded in the background that I just completely missed.
Yeah, I also did that. So there is something funny about the thing that helps you find secrets being a little too secret. We had that problem with iconoclasts, right? In iconoclasts, there was like a rumbles when you're near a secret or something like that, but that itself was in a secret.
I don't remember this at all, but I'll take your word on it.
Oh, okay.
My memory is not as good as yours, clearly. I only remember the good stuff about iconoclasts, obviously, rose-colored glasses. So yeah, no.
Yeah, one thing that I don't know how I feel about was like the whole repair kit and keys thing, especially because I hadn't found a lot of these secret rooms and hadn't found the map room. I was just like near the end of the game and was like, I have no idea where to find these.
Yeah, there are a couple of optional areas that both repair kits and the keys function the same way in that they allow you to then progress, but they're just, I guess, different resources that are available at different times. And there are a couple that are just hidden in some of these secret areas that you could absolutely miss with nothing on the map indicating where they are.
Yeah, most of them are buyable, which is also kind of just like, I don't know. Is that interesting?
Like, I think it's fine for optional things to have that kind of resource. Like, you can, if you know what you're doing for one thing, or just it, depending on which ones you come across earlier or later, it's a thing to invest your money in and get a reward. I'm not sure about having two separate ones, both repair kits and keys functioning the same way. Like, unless you really needed to pace out which ones are being available to the player. I don't know. That's what's weird to me. Like, I'm fine with buying keys, like buying an optional goodie or buying the option to get an optional goodie. Not interesting, but I get the design, I guess.
Yeah, I just think maybe I would have preferred more in the traversal puzzles there instead. I guess the other thing is like, hey, we've got all these astral gates. Some of those things could have been behind some of them, right? But
yeah, no, the astral gates tended to be pretty on the main path. Once you unlock it, if you've touched that part of the map, it'll be right there when you check it, so you can see all the ones you have access to.
oh, and a dumb complaint that I had: when you get a stat point.
Yes, the main upgrade system is you finding these essentially heart containers. You get 3 and you get a new thing.
And also when you beat a boss.
You can upgrade one of your main 5 stats.
In the menu where you allocate your stat points, you cannot see your current allocation of stat points.
Oh.
Why? Why is this set up this way?
You know, it never seemed relevant to me because usually I'm just thinking of, I already know what I feel, like what I want to get next. And usually it's just more damage on whip, or when I was feeling the like pressure of getting hit too much, some armor or health.
Oh.
Probably could have also invested more in the Feng Fu damage multiplier.
I allocated them aggressively evenly.
That's a strategy.
And it was an annoyance that before I picked something up, I had to go check my menu to see what ones I needed to up next. I don't know.
Yeah, fair enough. I should also mention that you can at any point visit the traveling circus zone. They've got a place where you can just reallocate all of your stat points for free.
Yeah, though it took me a while to figure out that's what that did, because I think I didn't have any points to allocate when I first found them.
Wow, you got there early.
Or like there's a story event which was like doing the first thing in the temple.
Okay.
That you needed to do before they would allow you to reallocate. I'm not sure.
That sounds right.
But they did not let me do it the first time I met them.
Gotcha. Another thing like the witch hut, not surfacing certain information the best, but it is there.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll be another patch.
I don't know. It's just something vague about dreams. I was like, okay, moving on.
Yeah, I definitely didn't know that's what it was going to be, but I definitely came back. I think I'm like you, I had gone there before doing the first main dungeon, and so was also barred. But yeah, after doing that, I talked to everyone in the town again, and just to see. I also never reallocated, never felt the need to.
Yeah, me either.
The last step in, if I'm really having trouble with a boss, maybe I'll go completely respec, but never had to, thankfully. It was enough to just change out the loadout.
Fair. Maybe I should have respec'd and put all my power into the magic weapons.
Might have been prudent. Definitely seemed like you were wasting points on probably the kick, it sounds like.
Yeah, isn't the kick and the magic weapons the same one, though? It's finesse.
There's like getting more MP as well as the finesse.
Yeah.
I can't remember what finesse did outside of the kick, because obviously that's the one that's relevant to me, but did it power up your weapons?
Yeah, it's kick and equipment. I found things were slightly off in that, like, some strings called things something and then other ones called them something else.
Huh.
Or, like, sometimes it just wasn't that obvious. Like, one of the companions says increases your finesse by a random amount, and I couldn't remember what finesse was for the longest time. And it turns out it's that rightmost stat upgrade.
Gotcha. Yeah, I never used that companion, obviously, but yeah, I guess it's doing both of those functions instead of just empowering your equipment.
Yeah.
But that's weird.
Or, like, I think when I got the second healing one, I was like, is heal better than regenerate? Question mark? I guess so, because in practice, that's better.
Yeah, I think the difference between those was how efficient MP to HP it was and how quickly things happened. Because there are like 3 to 4 different healing equipment.
Yeah. For a long time, I used the throw the healing potion just because it was fast.
That was my mainstay for basically the whole game.
And then the platforms in boss fights started to get small enough that it became challenging to heal yourself.
And then you change your loadout for the appropriate situation.
Yes.
I do wish there were, like in most games, being able to like hot swap between entire loadouts and not having to scroll through each individual thing every time you want to change.
Yeah.
At this point, this is just, polish that I would love to have, not like game-breaking design. So whatever.
I had a bit of a habit of walking into a boss without the boss loadout and then being like, oh, can I change it? No, I have to die.
Yeah, and if dying costs you money, that's a different strategy.
That's fair. I would probably be more careful about it.
Were you able to warp to Shrine? Because that's usually in the start menu. I can't remember if that's available in boss fights or not.
I had never tried actually warping to Shrine from a boss fight.
Because, yeah, like when you're just exploring, you can always just go back to your last shrine, the save point or whatever. Does not cost you anything. So that's what I used a lot. It saved a lot of time when I was just exploring randomly. Other than that, is there anything else that calls out to you as being particularly notable about this game?
I think that was all that was on my mind.
One final note, there are a lot of different whips that do different things, like you were saying. Like one whip has no hitbox except on the tip, but does a bunch of damage. Another one that does no damage at all, but will facilitate just spamming equipment. One that I found unusable but very funny was the Cursed Whip, which does tiny amount of damage, a whole bunch of damage, but will also spawn extra enemies to swarm you while you're using it.
I was using the Cursed Whip for a while, and it was very good most of the time until you had to also be platforming. So like in the hidden temple where there's the 3 different sections.
Yes.
Summoning the evil butterflies started to be a problem.
Yeah, that's what I found, was that it became unusable for just getting around. Like occasionally if you get that huge payoff for the damage, this is obviously before I really had the stacking Fung Fu charge whip loadout. A good time, and I think an appropriate use of Cursed, where it's not just it does the funny numbers. There's an additional complication that it doesn't straight up tell you, and you just have to infer that, oh, these weird extra enemies.
This is coming from the whip.
Right. Curse.
My favorite part is that attacking the evil butterflies also has the chances to summon the evil butterflies. So there were a couple times where it's just like, I'm net increasing them as I deal with them.
You cannot just stand and fight.
I have to get out of here.
You have a problem, and you can't use the problem to solve the problem. It just causes more problems.
Yeah, I appreciated that.
But I think we've got a problem. Where to put this goddamn game on a goddamn list. The stack rank, which is, of course, linked in the doobly-doo. It's something we do every episode where we compare and contrast this game versus all the other games we've ever played. So it sounds like you're a little bit more lukewarm on this than me, so...
It's fine, right? Like, it is a perfectly competent thing that I had fun with.
See, I think it's better than fine. Like, I think it's fine in that it is refined. It's got a lot of things that just kind of work well and, like, no real rough edges other than the ones you opt into, and I found them to be appropriate. Got enough friction on there for me, as well as for anyone who doesn't want it, don't need it. Lots of values to modify.
Yeah.
If you have a number there, I'll let you go ahead. Otherwise, I got it.
I think I'm looking at above the Night Witch, but under Guns of Fury? I don't know.
Under Guns of Fury? That's wild to me.
Where I want to put this is kind of all over the place, whereas, like, okay, there's just some things that I like better that need to be above it, and then some things that I'm like, in hindsight, I feel like I remember liking this more. Why did I put it so low? I keep looking at Pompous and Celine and being like, I actually kind of liked that a lot.
Yeah.
Why did I put it down there? Huh.
That's a game we've played again since that episode.
I mean, that's probably why, because I played it again, having known everything, and felt good about it. And so every time I look at it, I think about that. I don't know. This is a kind of zone of, like, these games are competent, but not superlative.
See, if you'd done the Astral Gates, totally different tune.
I did some of them, and I mostly was like, I do not have the time to master this. So
See, if you had the time, if you're a different person with a different life.
now, a lot of that is my own fault for procrastinating. But
Nah. Mostly I'm surprised that like specifically Guns of Fury is above it, but fair enough.
I don't know. Yeah, it could move. I think definitely Time Spinner is above it, but maybe.
Commit.
There's some things that are definitely above. I think Pseudo Regalia is the one that it definitely cannot go above.
Sure.
And then it's like kind of just working down from there where it's like, yeah.
All right, so we're committing. Your new number 31,
Yes.
Lone Fungus, Melody of Spores.
And it's definitely better than the Night Witch.
Sure.
On completely different axes, I guess, because the Night Witch was interesting, a lot more interesting story-wise. But I also got very frustrated with that game.
I also have the Night Witch way higher. Yours below 30, mine's at 15, which I'm also looking at. So it's above Night Witch for me. I'm looking at Rebel Transmute. Think it's above that. Then we get into like Castlevania, Ender Lilies, Iconoclast. All of these, I think Lone Fungus, Melody of Spores, just kind of hit every checkbox for me in a way that even Pipistrello, like it's not going above Super Metroid, right? Which is currently number 9. Like, I think that would be crazy. That's like definitely I need to be locked up in some sort of asylum for just being too adherent to recency bias. But I think Pipistrello, for its unique charm, goes above it. But I think Iconoclast as a game is just not good enough to play despite my own weird arbitrary love for it. So I think for me, new number 11, just shy of the top 10.
Wow.
Is Lone Fungus. Yeah, no, I really liked it. I had a blast. I loved every second. And I think if I didn't catch the Astral Gates at the end, this would be like 10 marks lower. But with it has everything I want in one of these games. Hard platforming, decently deep combat with a lot of options. What more could you ask for from a game?
It had that delicious friction that you love.
I love friction so much. Don't quote me on that. It's not weird and lewd, I swear. But I don't know, Tom. Do you think there's another game that could whet my appetite even better than this one?
I mean, I don't think that's actually very likely, but just because of the reasons that I chose this.
Sure.
It was like, we've been pretty recent for a while, right? Like, I think we're at least 3 games that released in the last 3 months.
Yes.
Maybe that doesn't make sense since it's February now, but regardless.
Sure.
We've played a bunch of games that released really recent. So I want to go way back into the weird old things.
Finally.
I mean, we did play Super Metroid, but that doesn't count as a weird old thing.
Not old enough.
Not old enough, too good. We're going to play Milon's Secret Castle for the NES, I believe.
Milon or Milon, I've heard it pronounced both ways, but
I don't know. I've heard it Milon.
Decently old, a game I've heard the name of, but never really seen played, so I guess we'll see what's up with his secret castle.
I've definitely seen a video and forgotten everything about it.
Great. Well, something you should never forget is, of course, to leave a comment or send any questions or comments to the invertedcastlepodcast@gmail.com on our YouTube page or at Twitter at invertedcastlepl. Never forget the P. And various other social media platforms with various different iterations of Inverted and or Castle. I'd also like to send a shout out and thank you to Colleen Fraser for the use of her composition String Quartet No. 1, which we have repurposed as the intro and outro of our program.
Yes, and to the people who actually performed it for her, who are named Duos Duet. That is a hard thing to switch between.
Duos Duet. Thank you.
Or maybe Duos Duet, but that sounds wrong.
That does sound wrong, but regardless, that's going to do it for us. I've been Eric Fox.
I've been Thomas Blight.
And remember, kids, if you're going to sing the Melody of Spores, make sure to warm up your vocal cordyceps.
Ho, ho, ho.